In today's video, I talk about the death of if it fits your macros. What's going on YouTube? This is Paul Ravello from ProPhysique.com, and today's video is going to be a little bit different because I have a topic I want to discuss. I'm not answering questions, not talking about lifestyle. I don't care about that fire truck going off in the background. Here's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about flexible dieting, or the term IIFYM, which is an acronym for if it fits your macros, and how I'm sick of using that acronym. I'm done using it. Today is officially the death of IIFYM for me, and it will not be coming out of my mouth in a positive way because I feel like it's getting bastardized. So first, what I want to do is talk a little bit about the history of IIFYM and where it came from. My first coach gave me a nutrition plan that had macros on it. It said, eat this many protein, eat this many carbs, eat this many fat, hit this fiber goal. That's your job for the day. And it gave me a list of, maybe 40 or 50 foods that I should use to hit those goals. I'll use these foods to hit these goals, and I'll get on the bodybuilding stage, and I won my class, and I did wonderful, and everyone thought I was crazy because I was eating things that were not typically associated with being a successful bodybuilder. But I will say this, when the going gets tough, when food really matters, when calories get low and you want to feel full, guess what you reach for? You reach for bro foods. So the thing I'm struggling with right now is all these posts going on that talk about IIFYM and how you can make up an entire diet and avoid anything that most people would consider a good, whole, healthy food. Now, I've said it in the past, I don't believe there's such a thing as a healthy food. All food is healthy, all food is calories. It's all about purpose. It's all about goals. There are better foods for better times in your life. What I'm going to do is get rid of the term IIFYM from my vernacular, and I'm going to switch to the term flexible dieting. You see, I did a video a while back with Dr. Joe Klemczewski, who is the reason flexible dieting became a fad. He is the reason that flexible dieting became the way we could compete in competition and diet down and get shredded. Because Dr. Joe got a plan from his first coach, and on that plan was a vegetable he didn't like. And he simply asked, can I switch out a vegetable for another vegetable? The vegetable he wanted to switch to was peas. He was a smart guy. He figured out that he could look up the caloric value, the nutritional value for each of these and equate one for the other. Well, the coach told him, no, that this is not what you do and that you follow the plan and that these are the magic foods. Well, thankfully, Joe went on to become one of the greatest coaches ever. If you are familiar with any online coaches these days, they are direct descendants of Dr. Joe, I promise you. And so, Joe took that approach and he turned it into a flexible approach. The flexible diet approach is not about tricking the system. It's not about eating ice cream 7 times a day, Pop-Tarts 3 times a day, having some whey protein powder and hitting your goals and calling it a day. Flexible dieting is about exchanging a food you like for a food you don't like. This is the goal. This is what I preach to my people. This is what I want everyone to understand. Is it okay to fit in a treat? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on your goal. If a certain food is going to trigger you to binge eat, to have issues with satiety, then maybe not. But the point is, don't fear food. Don't fear it. Flexible dieting is a lifestyle where we are able to go out to eat, have fun with our friends, and still reach our goals. The problem with the bro diet approach, where everyone eats asparagus and tilapia and the same 5 foods for 6 months, is it teaches terrible habits. This is not a good way to live. This is not a good way to look at food as good or bad, because if you think of a food as bad and you have some, then you go, fuck it, I'm done, I'm off my diet for the day. And it's a Tuesday, and you know what? I'm just going to wait till next Monday. Really? Is that what makes sense? Throwing your diet away for an entire week? How about this? How about we learn to understand that just because you go over one day means you can balance it out the next. Just because you have a huge meal maybe you eat a little bit less in your next meals. Just because you go 40 or 50 grams over your daily carbs for the day, maybe you can reduce 10, 15 grams of carbs from the next 3 days. And instead of feeling like you've given it all away, you can be flexible. That's what flexible dieting is about. It's about not fearing food. It's about understanding that there is nothing evil, inherently evil about any food. I don't care if it's fried, I don't care if it's pork belly, whatever it is that you're eating, there is nutritional value there. Sure, some foods, it's much easier to get a dense amount of calories and put on body fat and feel terrible about yourself. But that's not the food's fault, that's your fault. Food is inherently good. It serves a purpose. If we find a starving man in the desert and we give him cheese fries from Outback, do you think he's gonna think that's an unhealthy food? No, because it's gonna help him survive. This is my point. Don't use IIFYM as a crutch. If you're a coach out there preaching that the only way to succeed is to avoid IIFYM, that's fine, but you don't understand what it's about. So I'm doing away with that term. IIFYM does not exist to me anymore. I use flexible dieting. Exchanging. If you don't like chicken, eat tuna. If you don't like broccoli, eat peas. If you don't like rice, eat potatoes, okay? And if you need to eat a Snickers bar or a piece of pizza to keep you consistent on your diet and feel like you can keep going, then do that. But don't make the excuse that it's all one or the other, okay? All right, take it down a notch now. Sometimes when I see social media posts, people talking crap about flexible dieting online, it just gets me fired up. Bottom line, guys, is yes, you should use good whole foods in your approach, but you should also understand that you can fit things in that don't necessarily jive with what the media or the social media or people in your family or the people in your gym say is healthy, because they just don't understand nutrition. My goal is to educate. My goal is to improve the process. My goal is to avoid having people get eating disorders or feel like they're lost because their coach gave them a plan where they could only eat 6 foods, and when the contest is over, the season is over, they don't get answers. I don't know how realistic that goal is. I'm one person, me and my friends, we're only so many people, and it seems to still be the way. But I have some good news. There is hope in sight, and we will get to a point where flexible dieting is no longer called flexible dieting, because it's just fucking dieting. That's dieting. You should be flexible. Shouldn't have to call it flexible dieting. That's what dieting should be. When we reach that point, I'll be happy. Until then, we're going to deal with the media talking about this food boosts your metabolism, this food helps you burn fat, and how to do crazy things that shouldn't be done, like losing 30 pounds in 30 days. So I digress. But for the foreseeable future, IIFYM, if it fits your macros, which is just a clever acronym, sounds cool, it's got catchy, it's an easy way to describe the flexible approach, but I think it has gone too far. I think the term has gotten bastardized to the point where it's no longer recognizable. So, flexible dieting, that's what we're gonna do. All right, guys, tomorrow I'll get back to my usual question and answer, probably be a little less edgy. Hopefully you guys aren't too put off by this, but I had to get this out, man. I felt like it's been building inside of me. It's just something I wanted to say, and hopefully you guys appreciate it. So let me know your thoughts. I mean, I think for most of us, flexible dieting and IIFYM, they're basically the same thing, and we understand. And maybe I'm way off base here, and maybe it's just the fact that social media likes to, you like to show off the crazy foods you eat and call it flexible dieting. You like to show off the ice cream sundaes and the pizza and the calzones and whatever else it is that you fit into your diet. But I think most flexible dieters, even though they show those meals, their other 35 meals of the week are going to be typical whole food, healthy diet food. I'm also planning to do a video where I go to the grocery store, get food, cook it, and prepare a week's worth of meals on a budget and show how anybody can do flexible dieting on a budget for a week. Planning ahead. I think that's the ticket, planning ahead. But that's another thought for another day. Anyway, guys, this is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com. Thank you for listening to me rant. Have an awesome Wednesday, and I will talk to you soon.